Then we opened up a pawn shop. So it's all I've ever done. I enjoy doing it. So I mean, there's just a lot of things going on there.
Rick Harrison from Pawn Stars sentenced to life in prison. You may have seen this shocking headline circulating on social media or popping up in your YouTube recommendations lately. The story claims that the famous Pawn Stars personality has been arrested, tried, and given a life sentence for various crimes, including tax evasion, money laundering, and trafficking, stolen historical artifacts. It's the kind of news that makes you stop scrolling and think, wait, what happened to the guy I've been watching on TV for years? The details seemed comprehensive. FBI raids, damning evidence, courtroom drama, and even reactions from his son, Corey, and friend Chumley. But before you share that story with friends and family, there's something important you need to know. It's completely and utterly false. Today, we're diving deep into this viral rumor, separating fact from fiction and showing you why it's crucial to question sensational claims before accepting them as truth. In a world where misinformation spreads at lightning speed, let's take a moment to examine what's really going on with Rick Harrison. The fabricated story about Rick Harrison has been circulating online in various forms, but they all follow a similar narrative. According to these false reports, federal agents supposedly raided Rick Harrison's Las Vegas home and the gold and silver pawn shop as part of a massive investigation. The fake story claims that Rick was investigated for a trifecta of serious crimes: tax evasion, money laundering, and trafficking stolen historical artifacts. It paints a picture of a secret criminal mastermind hiding behind the friendly face we've come to know on television. These fabricated reports don't skimp on details either. They mention a complex scheme where Rick allegedly undervalued historical artifacts for tax purposes while selling them through private channels at their true market value. The story claims he maintained a separate bookkeeping system for off-the-record transactions and established offshore accounts to hide profits. In perhaps the most dramatic element of the fake narrative, the story claims a whistleblower, a former employee who worked closely with Rick, provided authorities with damning evidence. This fictional informant supposedly revealed details about Rick's illegal activities, including the purchase of stolen historical documents and artifacts belonging to museums and private collections. The tale continues with claims about encrypted messages and text exchanges between Rick and unidentified suppliers discussing how to clean the provenance of stolen artifacts. It describes a year-long legal battle culminating in a trial where former associates testified against him. The fictional account reaches its dramatic conclusion with Rick allegedly receiving a life sentence, with the judge supposedly citing the irreparable damage done to historical and cultural heritage. It even includes emotional descriptions of his son, Corey putting his head in his hands, and Chumley leaving the courtroom overcome with emotion. Some versions of the story add a post-sentencing narrative about Corey taking over the family business, implementing rigorous new protocols for verifying the provenance of every item, and the History Channel quickly distancing itself from Rick by canceling Pawn Stars and removing reruns from its broadcasting schedule. These rumors appear to have originated from clickbait websites and social media accounts designed to generate traffic through sensational, albeit false, content. Some versions of this story have been formatted to look like legitimate news articles, complete with fabricated quotes and detailed timelines of events that never occurred. The story may have initially appeared on unreliable news sites that specialize in creating viral content, regardless of its accuracy. Now that we understand the claims being made, let's examine the actual facts about Rick Harrison and his current status. He continues to be active in business and makes regular public appearances. In fact, as recently as current date -2 weeks, he was posting on his verified Instagram account at Real Rick Harrison about his business ventures, public appearances, and even political commentary. A quick check of his social media profiles shows a man actively engaged with his fans and businesses, not someone serving a life sentence. The shop remains open for business as usual in Las Vegas, with no evidence of any federal investigation or closure. Tourists continue to visit the famous location daily, taking photos and purchasing merchandise. The shop's official website continues to promote normal business hours and special events. The show has not been canceled as the fake story claims. New episodes featuring Rick Harrison have aired in recent months, and the program remains one of the network's most popular shows. The History Channel's official website and programming schedule confirm this fact. Against Rick Harrison, If a prominent TV personality like Rick had been arrested, tried, and sentenced to life imprisonment, it would have been covered extensively by major news outlets like CNN, Fox News, NBC, TMZ, or the Las Vegas Review-Journal. A search through these reputable sources reveals no such reporting. And give interviews. He has appeared on various television programs and podcasts discussing his business, the show, and his other ventures without any mention of legal troubles. In fact, he's expanded his business presence in recent years, opening Rick's Roll and Smoke BBQ and Tavern near the pawn shop. He regularly attends public events, business openings, and political rallies. He's been photographed at numerous events in the past months, something impossible for someone serving a life sentence. A life sentence for non-violent financial crimes would be extraordinarily unusual in the American justice system, which should immediately raise red flags about the story's credibility. Even in cases involving significant financial crimes, sentences typically range from a few years to a few decades, not life imprisonment. Public records show no disruption in the business's operation or change in ownership structure that would indicate a major legal issue involving its principal owner. About him facing legal troubles or being imprisoned. Corey Harrison, Chumley, and other Pawn Stars personalities continue to interact with Rick publicly and show no signs of the distress described in the fake narrative. In these interviews, he discussed future plans for his businesses and the show, hardly the actions of someone facing serious legal jeopardy or already serving a prison sentence. These verified facts paint a completely different picture than the fictional narrative spreading online. Rick Harrison continues to live his life as a successful businessman and television personality, not as an inmate serving a life sentence. This particular fake story about Rick Harrison is interesting to analyze because it contains several elements that make it seem believable to those who don't look deeper. The story incorporates accurate details about Rick's background, family relationships, and business ventures, making the fictional elements seem more plausible by association. Despite the legitimate nature of Rick's business, pawn shops have historically been viewed with some suspicion by portions of the public. The fake story plays into latent stereotypes about the industry. The fabricated narrative doesn't just make vague claims. It provides names, dates, specific legal charges, and detailed descriptions of events, creating an illusion of journalistic reporting. The fake story follows a classic rise and fall storyline that people find compelling. A successful man who built an empire only to lose it all through secret criminal dealings. By including fictional responses from people we know from the show, like Corey and Chumley, the story creates an emotional element that readers can connect with. Understanding why this false story about Rick Harrison gained traction requires examining broader patterns in how misinformation proliferates online. Websites and social media accounts that create these false stories earn money through advertising. The more sensational the headline, the more clicks they receive and the more revenue they generate. A story about a beloved TV personality facing life in prison is virtually guaranteed to generate high engagement. Stories that surprise or alarm us tend to capture our attention more effectively than mundane truths. This is known as negativity bias, our tendency to pay more attention to negative events than positive ones. When we see a headline claiming a celebrity we know has been sentenced to life in prison, our curiosity is naturally piqued. Regardless of its accuracy, when people interact with sensational stories by commenting, sharing, or clicking, algorithms interpret this engagement as a sign that the content is valuable and show it to even more users. This creates a snowball effect where false information can reach millions before fact-checkers can respond. In 1981, Rick's family relocated to Las Vegas, Nevada, where his father, Richard Benjamin Harrison, known as the Old Man, opened the gold and silver coin shop. The business eventually evolved into the world-famous gold and silver pawn shop in 1989, which would become the setting for Pawn Stars decades later. After years of pitching the idea of a reality show based on the daily operations of the pawn shop, Rick finally secured a deal with the History Channel in 2009. Pawn Stars began airing following the daily operations of the gold and silver pawn shop. The show showcased Rick, his son Corey Big Hoss Harrison, his father the Old Man Harrison, and their friend Austin Chumley Russell. The show became an instant hit, transforming Rick from a local pawn shop owner into a television celebrity. His catchphrases, straight-talking manner, and extensive knowledge about historical artifacts made him a fan favorite. The educational aspect of the show, which Rick insisted upon, appealed to a broad audience, making it one of the History Channel's most successful programs. Under Rick's guidance, the pawn shop expanded its business, attracting tourists from around the world. Merchandise sales soared, and Rick capitalized on his fame by writing books, making personal appearances, and even opening restaurants. The success of Pawn Stars catapulted Rick into a new realm of celebrity. Today, Rick continues to be involved with the show and his various business ventures. He remains active on social media, sharing updates about his work and personal interests. The Gold and Silver Pawn Shop continues to operate as both a functioning pawn shop and a popular tourist destination in Las Vegas. The story about Rick Harrison being sentenced to life imprisonment is completely fabricated. Rick remains a free man, actively involved in his businesses and the television show that made him famous. This false narrative serves as a perfect case study in how misinformation spreads in the digital age. This case serves as an important reminder to approach sensational headlines with healthy skepticism. Before believing or sharing shocking news, especially about public figures, take a moment to check if legitimate news sources are reporting the same information. Look for verification from the subject's official social media accounts. Consider whether the claims seem plausible or exaggerated. Check fact-checking websites if you're unsure. Remember that extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. In an age where misinformation can spread faster than truth, critical thinking is our best defense. The viral nature of the false Rick Harrison imprisonment story demonstrates how easily fictional narratives can gain traction when they're designed to trigger emotional responses and delivered through channels that mimic legitimate news. The next time you see a shocking headline, remember the false Rick Harrison prison sentence story, and take a moment to verify before you believe. As consumers of information, we all have a responsibility to be thoughtful about what we accept as true and what we choose to share with others. Thanks for watching this in-depth debunking video. If you found this helpful, please like and subscribe for more content that separates fact from fiction. Let me know in the comments if there are other viral stories you'd like me to investigate. And remember, in the words Rick Harrison might appreciate, when it comes to information online, always check if it's the real deal before you make it part of your personal collection of knowledge. If you want to see what Rick Harrison is actually up to these days, you can follow his verified social media accounts or watch new episodes of Pawn Stars on the History Channel. You might even catch him at the actual Gold and Silver Pawn Shop in Las Vegas, where he still makes regular appearances. The spread of misinformation affects real people with real lives. While Rick Harrison is fortunate enough to have a public platform where he can demonstrate that rumors of his imprisonment are false, many victims of fake news don't have the same opportunity to clear their names. As we navigate an increasingly complex information landscape, let's commit to being responsible digital citizens who value truth over sensation and verification over virality. Stay curious, stay skeptical, and I'll see you in the next video.